Namaskar friends, today I'm with you with an interesting story. Today I'll not say you to like, comment or subscribe, just listen this story. At the end of the day you decide what you want to do with this video. It's a very inspiring video of Captain Sullenberger, nicknamed Sully, and his first officer Jeffrey Skiles. On 15th January 2009, there was an Airbus A320 flight which takes over from LaGuardia Airport in the US. And within a short span of time, when the plane takes off, there is a bird attack. And with that bird attack, both the engines of the Airbus stops working. Captain Sully immediately take over the charge from the first officer, and he is now full in command of the situation. He talks to the center for an emergency that both engines are failed. They had a small discussion that where they can now land up, but within few seconds the Captain Sully has to take a decision. It is a very crucial decision about the life of the members on that particular Airbus. There were total 155 passengers, including the staff and the pilots. So there was an emergency, and Captain Sully was trying his best to help everybody. Soon he sees the Hudson River in front of him, and there was a message going to the center at LaGuardia Airport that we are very soon going to be in the Hudson. After that, the radio message is disconnected, and within few seconds the plane lands on the cold waters of Hudson River. It was a real life incident, later on converted into a movie named SULLY. Recently I was able to see this movie. I'll not take the pleasure of seeing the movie. I'll advise everybody to see this movie on your own. But there are great lessons in this movie for an individual and for a person who wants to be in a leadership position in a managerial organization. Up till now, I have just told you a simple story, a real life incident, that the Captain Sully was able to land his Airbus 320 on the Hudson River, cold waters of Hudson River. And this whole incident took, right from the birds hitting the plane, 208 seconds. 208 seconds, I am repeating. Right from the Airbus hitting the birds and the Captain Sully making a decision at the end to land it on the Hudson River, and then a miracle happens. The person who was receiving the radio emergency messages, he goes into depression because of his experience. He said, whosoever lands up in the Hudson River is never survived. He goes into his cabin in a very depressed mood. But the miracle happens is that all the 155 persons on board of that particular Airbus were safe. and the whole world is going gaga after the achievement of Captain Sully. Captain Sully did his best in the critical of circumstances. He had shown all the immense leadership qualities, commitment towards his crew members and his passengers. The movie very beautifully shows that up till the last passenger, he was trying to evacuate everybody safely. I'll narrate certain incidents so that you can understand the commitment level and the leadership qualities depicted by Sully. All the YouTubes are available, all the things are available online. But the point which impressed me, which I want to share with you, is that this Captain Sully, with immense amount of experience, was able to land that particular Airbus in a very safe manner on the Hudson River. And very soon the rescue team came and they rescued all the persons on board. But when I saw the movie, Sully was eager to ask that, can I have the count of the person who have been rescued from the operation, because there was a chaos all over the place. Everybody was trying to save all the passengers, crew members, staff members of that particular Airbus to a safer place. So this person again and again asks to the authorities that, I want to have a count, I want to have a count. And when he was there in his hotel room, he was very desperate to know the exact number of count. Then some official comes to him and he says that, sir, it is 155. Then there was a total sigh of relief on the face of Captain Sully. Why? Because then he realized that whatever he was trying to achieve has been achieved. And now there is a twist in the story. The whole world is praising Sully, that there is a brave person who has saved 155 lives, including himself, by landing an Airbus 320 on the Hudson River and then evacuating everybody safely. There was an investigation against this particular case, and those who were undertaking that investigation took certain simulations and asked from Sully that why you have not gone to both the options given to you. What were the options? The option was that he can take his plan to LaGuardia Airport, or there was a nearest airport at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. That was almost 4 to 5 minutes or 6 minutes away from that place. He had this discussion with the person who was handling that emergency. But he was sure that he has shown negligence on his duty, whereas the simulation test they depicted, this is very beautifully shown in the movie, that both the pilots who were there in the simulators or who in the real life, non-real life situations, were able to land up at both these airports. Those were the options given to him, because those were the, one was to go back to the airport from where they took off. Second was the nearest place, that was Teterboro Airport. And when the investigation was going on, there was a great silence in the room. That here the whole world is praising Captain Sully, and here it is being shown as a gross negligence or a gross error or human error on his part. So after seeing this simulation, both the pilots were sitting there, first officer and Captain Sully. Captain Sully commented that, can we now get down to the real investigation? He said, you are judging the human error. Can I ask you certain questions? Then he asked certain questions. One was that both the pilots who were there in simulators, they were told the situation, that your both engines are going to be failure, and then accordingly you have to land up either one of the options. In first scenario, it was LaGuardia Airport. The second word was Teterboro Airport. And both the simulations, they landed very safely on that. They said, I'm not doubting your pilots who are there in the simulators. But what about the human factors? What about the real life complexity? What about the problems faced by me as both the engines were failures? Even in the investigation, there was an allegation that one of the engine was working, it has not been cross-checked. So that report came later on in the investigation. So where is the human error, or where is the complexity of the situation you have taken? It is a real life situation which has not happened even in the long experience of Captain Sully or any pilot as such. It was an emergency, it was a complex situation. And whatever best in those circumstances Captain Sully and his team were supposed to do, they had done it. And they have saved every person on the crew on that particular Airbus, on that particular flight. So he says, okay, now again we'll do those simulation tests right there at that investigation place. The criteria was that to handle this complexity of the situation, a gap of 35 seconds should be given. Mind you, the total incident, right from hitting the birds and right to the landing at the Hudson River, took 208 seconds. So 35 seconds were given for human space or human factor to decide that what to do. Again, the simulations were undertaken and to be taken by shock by everybody, including investigation team and everybody present there in that investigation hall. Both the tests failed. On both those situations, those trained pilots, they were not able to land their vehicles, their Airbus simulators safely on the either LaGuardia Airport or on the other port. No, everybody was stunned in that room. Why? Because we were judging the integrity of a person. We were judging the human error. We are allegating that person who has been able to, work under severest of circumstances and taken a right decision. He has taken the full responsibility also. He has been decisive and assertive. The moment the plane had the bird attack and both the engines failed, Captain Sully took over from the first officer. He said, now, let me take this. And when he was going to land in the Hudson River, he said, brace the impact. Embrace the impact. And he was very calm in his appearances. In the movie also, in the personal life also. So what I'm saying is, after this, the jury took their decision that yes, Captain Sully was right in saving and taking that particular action. There was no other option available. Either going to one airport or the other airport was not an option at all, because the seconds, the time was very, very crucial. And there was no thrust in the engines. There was no thrust in the plane. It was not going up, it was just going down, down and down. So the best decision taken in that particular condition was to take down that Airbus to the Hudson River, and the landing was also very smooth. When asked the real Captain Sully, he said, this is our job to take off the plane and to land the plane in a safe manner. And he never took credit on his own. He said, if the emergency savers would not have been there, if my first officer would not have been there, my staff would not have been there, I would not have been able to achieve this particular task. He's not taken even on a single moment the credit on his own. Now the things which is there to learn from this is, first is take on full responsibility. Second was, you have to be decisive and assertive when you are in the leadership role or when you are in the commanding role. He had that analytical and strategical bent of mind and thinking, and he took the right decision also under the circumstances, which was later on proved by the investigation team also. He was ready to take some sort of risk also, because landing on the Hudson River is an uphill task. Then he took care of all the customers or passengers and the crew members, his staff. He made it sure that all the people are evacuated as soon as possible when they are landing on the Hudson. These are some of the points which I liked about the movie. Now I would like to listen from you that how you like this real life incident which was depicted in the movie named Sully, SULLY. You must see this movie at your own expense. You will realize that any circumstances, if you are on virtuous path, if you are on right path, all the celestial powers, all the circumstances will try to help you. And the movie has, or the incident has shown this. Whenever you have shown resilience, whenever you have shown commitment, whenever you have shown a dedicated plan. He took this decision in 208 seconds. He executed that also. Within the first 35 seconds, he took the decision. When the radio message was being given, the last message was that we are landing on the Hudson, we are gonna be in the Hudson. And he executed that very beautifully by virtue of his commitment and experience. He has the passion of flying in his blood. His father gave him certain preliminary experiences and he has been growing on that. And now also he has done some kind of experience sharing, disaster management and aviation related websites and network also. He had that vision before this incident took place, so that he can, share his experience, his acumen with all the new pilots who are coming in this particular profession. And he was also planning for his post-retirement benefits also. He was under various difficult financial crunch also at that particular moment of time. All things I should not tell you. You must go and see the movie. But I must tell you, the lessons are very, very important, which you can take either for your personal life or even in your professional life, managerial life. Whenever managing an organization, this movie will definitely act as a guide light for you. Now you are free to either comment, subscribe or like this particular video. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.